Hello and welcome to Inspected Houses tutorial series. In this video we're going to go ahead and cover how to create a new property in the system and how the properties page works. So I've already logged into the system. As you can see, I've clicked onto the properties section. I've actually clicked onto active properties. Active properties are properties basically exactly what it sounds like. They're actively marketed and appear on the website. You'll notice another tab below that says inactive properties. Those are properties in a status that they're still in the system but cannot be seen, so pending, and there's a few cases where a property will be inactive. And what I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to kind of go through the different steps on creating them and then kind of what happens after that. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this active tab. So you can see I have a bunch of different properties already created that are considered active right now. Here's the address, and over here you can see if we've added marketing drip to that, which we'll get into once we open up a property. But to create a new property, I can go ahead and just hit the add button right here, and it'll take me to the property info page, where we just have to create some information here to pop up a new page. So we can add photographs on this side and property details on this side. If you're using a phone, there's tabs at the top to flip back and forth between those. But to create a property, the first thing we're going to want to do is add a couple of images. I'm going to go ahead and just hit the plus button right there. We're going to go ahead and find some properties to look at. So I'm going to go ahead and just grab a property. And let's say I'm going to market this property right here. And you can see it brings up to an image screen. So you notice I've got basically a square is going to appear. If your image does not appear within this square, we can go ahead and adjust that. So if you're on a Windows machine, you hold down the Control key, or on a Mac machine, it's the Command key, and simply scroll back, and you can see you can change the size to zoom in or out. If you want to only capture a portion of it, say that we just want to do the house part right here, we can move this around. And if we want to bring this up, I can go ahead and just select that area. So I'm going to go ahead and save it. And you see I have a cropped image now of the main image of the house. And also I want to add a couple interior photos just to make this work. It's the same thing. I'm going to go ahead. In this case, I'm going to scroll out so I can get the whole thing in. Add one more. And you can add as many of these photos as you like. And save that. And so on and so forth. You do have the option also, if you don't like the order that you put them in, that will appear in order 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's say that I want this picture to appear right after the front elevation. I can go ahead and just drag and drop those. And I can put them in a different order, etc. And once I have them satisfied with my photos, I can go ahead and put in an address. So in this case, I'm going to just put 401 to 401 North Michigan. I've already done this a few times. Let's go ahead and put an address in. That's in Chicago, Illinois, and zip is 60611. And let's choose the property type. Let's say this is a residential property, but we do have the option to market different types of property. We're not relegated to residential only. So if you're doing condos, multi-units, rentals, etc., you can choose what type it is. In this case, I'm going to put residential. And then as far as status is concerned, because this is a new property, you'll notice that active is not an available status. I'm just going to choose pending. The reason for that is the homeowner has to approve this being marketed live on the site. So we'll get into what happens there in just a second. If you have a link, if you've done a video of this property, you can add that. If it's up on YouTube or Vimeo, you just put the URL to the video right here. Again, we only support YouTube and Vimeo at this time. And then down here we have comments for the house. So this is the description of the house that you're going to want the consumers to see on the website. It also appears in a couple of different spots that we can utilize, which we'll get into in other tutorials. But this is your main description of the property. Let's say that you want to, this is a great demo house. That's the text that's going to appear below the information on the website, so basically the remarks. If we want to highlight specific features, we can do that as well. You can highlight anything you want, and you do that by adding a feature this way. So I'm going to go ahead and click the Add Feature button. And let's say that in this case I want to say, highlight the beds and how many bedrooms it has. And I save that, and that'll give me a field, and I can add as many of these fields as I want. So let's say this is a 4-bedroom house. And if I want to add another one, let's say that I want to highlight the bathrooms. And let's say that there's 5 or 2 of those, 2.5. And let's say I really like something about the outside, like new roof. I can add anything I want. So you're not limited to what you have here. So this is new in 2017. Okay. All right. So now I've got that. The last thing to do is to load your inspection report. If you don't have an inspection report, you can still save, but we're going to go ahead and choose a file. It can be any type of file you want. Typically they're PDFs, but we can load images and other things that you want. So I'm going to go ahead and just click a floor plan for right now, just as an example. You notice once I do that, it brings up this little box right here, which just is a basic reminder that you need to make sure that you've removed any sensitive information from that report, from the seller contact, etc., as part of the terms of service. And we have to click this or else we won't be able to save it, that you agree to those terms. And we'll go ahead and hit the Save button. Once I do that, it's going to tell me congratulations, and now I can go ahead and send this to the homeowner for review, and I can also link a real estate partner. So I'm going to go ahead and do that next. So the first thing to do is let's choose which real estate agent we want to work with. If you have not worked with this realtor before, it's a new opportunity, you're going to want to hit the Add Realtor button, in which case you'll just put their first name, last name, email address, and you have the option to also list the brokerage here. Or if you have worked with this realtor partner before and put a property in, there's a drop down which you can choose existing accounts. So you notice I've got a whole bunch of them in here in my testing accounts. And some of them show pending and the last one doesn't. The difference here is that these pending status individuals have not signed up yet for the real-time lead notifications. In this case, you'd have to forward the leads to them if they want to get them. Whereas if they have signed up, they're going to appear in active status, which I'm going to go ahead and click that realtor right there. And then they're already in the system to go ahead and receive texts and email leads just like you do. Okay. Once I do that, I hit the Save button. And that's going to go ahead and I'm going to go back to editing. That's going to go ahead and shoot that realtor a message that they've been linked to this account. And I'll show you that in just a second here. And the other thing that we have to do is we have to send this off to the homeowner. So I'm going to go ahead and just make myself the homeowner. Just use my Gmail account for right now. And I'm going to go ahead and send that off. Okay? And you notice it appears in waiting status. That means that the homeowner has not yet responded to this yet. You can also add an email and marketing drip, so if somebody fills out a form off the website, you can go ahead and shoot that. We'll do a separate tutorial on how to do that, but that's also controlled on the property page. But I'm going to go ahead now and I'm going to go over into email for just a second. And you'll see I just have some ones up already. I'm going to go ahead and click this right now. And we've gotten a couple of different emails. Okay? And the first one that goes to the homeowners is right here, and it tells the homeowner, hey, oops, here's the property, it's been added to inspected houses. If they want to go ahead and authorize that, all they have to do is click the publish link. They can also review the terms and conditions, and we attach a copy of the report as well. So if they want to go ahead and read through that and make sure it's what they want to say before it posts, they can go ahead and do that. So if they go ahead and click the publish the link phase, it'll take them over to the website, and it'll say thank you, that link is now active. Okay. The other one, go back here, is sent to the real estate agent, which you can see right here. And that just tells the real estate agent, hey, you've been linked to this property. If they haven't signed up yet, they can do it here. Here's a link to the property for them to review. If they're already signed up, they can simply ignore this, but it lets them know that they have been linked to another property, which helps you to let them know that you're working with them. Okay? So we're going to go ahead and go back into the system for just a second. And here, back to the property details, and we have active properties. I'm actually going to go back into a different one here just a second, and you can see now I'm on the active list right here. We open this back up. I can hit the edit button, go down here, and you'll show that this is status approved. Okay, so that's the basics of what happens with the property creation. Now, the other thing I did want to note in this is that after 30 days, the system automatically has a timer on it that asks you whether or not you want to continue having this as an active listing. So you're going to get an email like this. It says, do you want to keep the property active on the list? And if you do, you go ahead and click this link right here, and it'll make sure that it doesn't deactivate. If you don't click that, we're going to go ahead and put that as an inactive status so that you don't have a bunch of clutter up on your website with properties that are no longer on the market. So that's the basics of putting together a property and creating one and linking them. In the next one tutorials, we'll go ahead and show you a couple other tricks in terms of marketing and how to use marketing codes to promote and get the word out about this property.